Good morning, Micah and Candace. My name is Pat, and I'm the project manager with Epic up at the Anthem Reserve. And my partner Sean and I are building your home. And today is Friday, January 29th, and we're doing what we call a virtual pre-drywall video today. We're going to talk about many things inside and outside. We're going to look at the condition of your home, the stage of your home, tell you what's going on. We'll look at electrical options, low volt options, and everything in your house. So I have this little checklist that I go through on every house, and you can see that this is your address, 15362 Irving Court, and we're building for you an escape or a 2361 plan, the Colorado Rustic elevation. Today we're going to talk about graded drainage, the gutter and downspout locations, window grids, electrical locations, low volt and security, plumbing, mechanical, projected schedule. That's the last thing we'll cover today after we go through the home. So what I have with me today, first thing we're going to look at is your plot plan. And if you don't have a copy of this, please reach out to Kyle so that he can get one to you. But this is very helpful in after you move in to plan your landscape, or before you move in, planning your landscape. It shows your lot. This dark line is the exterior footprint of your home. There's a lot of information on here, but this guides me as to how I need to place your home, what the grading requirements are on every lot, what slopes of grades that I need to achieve and maintain. There's a legend down here in the bottom right that tells you what the symbols mean and the numbers mean, but this, for example, on this back concrete wall here, that 34.0 is the length. Engineers speak in tenths of feet, so 34.0 feet, 13.0 feet, etc. This little stop sign symbol in the plans tells me how many steps there are from finished floor to the adjoining surface. So for example, from your front porch to the finished floor, there's 1 step. I've got 3 steps from the front porch down to the driveway. From the garage, from the owner's entry into the house, there are 3 steps. And from the finished floor out onto your back deck, there's 1 step down, then 16 steps going down to grade, down to the pad at the back. This is the outline of your lot, these dark lines. This lot is 12,173 square feet. It's lot number 98. I mentioned your address. This tells me it's a 2361 plan, or a 50-foot wide and a 50-foot wide product. The TOF and the FF, what that represents are real GPS elevations. So on your finished floor, when you're sitting at your kitchen table, you will be 5,426.4 feet above sea level. So those are real elevations. All these little numbers around your home, these are spot elevations referencing how I need to grade, percentages of slope away from the foundation. We need to maintain a specific slope away from foundation, and that's to maintain your structural warranty, your 10-year structural warranty. It's a minimum 10% away from the house, then we can gradually change things. Your driveway, it's only a 3.5% slope up at the top, up at the apron. Then it steepens up a little bit at the base down to 9%. These dashed lines on the perimeter show us the utility easement on your lot. There's a 5-foot utility easement on the sides, an 8-foot in the rear, and in the front, an 8-foot utility easement as well. And what that is that gives, that's kind of public domain, where the utility companies have 10-foot utility easements to get utilities in and out of each lot. In the back and adjoining property, there's a 16-foot utility easement and 8 in the front. That's where the gas line runs, the electric lines run in the back, and then they come up to the house from the pedestal locations. So those are the utility easements, these dashed lines, and you're not allowed to build any permanent structure within those easements. And if you choose to, in the future, build a permanent structure, the utility company is not liable, you are. If something would happen to an underground utility and that permanent structure would need to be moved, or even if it's landscaping, that does fall to your responsibility. So this is a copy of the plot plan, and like I mentioned, if you don't have one, I'd advise you just reach out to Kyle. And so we talked about the grading here, and we're gonna walk around the exterior of the home. And as you can see right now, the condition of your home, we got the driveway in, all the concrete in. We're finishing up the exterior. We lost some time due to weather, but this weekend by Monday, we'll probably be finishing the masonry. On Monday, the siders come back, and we'll be finishing all the siding. The window up in the dormer up on the top is still back ordered. It's a special window. It's a blackout window called a spandrel, and they misordered it, the size of it, the first go around, and then they reordered it as soon as I got the delivery of the rest of the windows, but it's still not here. As soon as it gets here, we'll get that window in the dormer up top. But beginning Monday, my siders will be back, and we're putting up all soffits on the back deck area. We're going to be redoing some siding on the rear of the home, plus on the north face, and I'll explain it as we go around. But as you can see here, and you've got the Colorado rustic elevation. This has 2 beam corbels here. That beam and the wood corbels that go on top of the beam will be set next week. All that'll happen Monday and Tuesday, so your house will be wrapped up by midweek on the exterior. Then we'll continue to set roof tile, and we'll get paint going as soon as weather allows, probably within the next few weeks. So on your elevation, on the Colorado rustic, you see the window grids, and the 2V, 1H, 2 vertical grids and 1 horizontal is what the Colorado rustic in the front elevation dictates. The front windows there at the front porch. You can see the wires hanging out of the soffits, and those are the 3-inch LED lights which you have opted for in the soffits. And on your electric mini, I have that with me, which we'll be looking at. You requested 2 centered over the windows, 1 on this corner, 1 centered above the single car garage, and then 2 centered on the front porch. So we have all 6 of those roughed in, and those LED lights will go in on trim, but those are the wires. We've got them all drilled in. You can also see on the front here, we've got a downspout on this front corner. There's a gutter that goes on the front side, and then there'll be a downspout on that corner over there. Front porch all drains over to this, and then on this side there'll be a downspout on this corner hugging the house, down the masonry and out to grade. I'm going to walk up to the front here. You can see we've got coach lights, 4 coach lights placed, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got the 2 LEDs on the front porch. There are 3 recessed cans for lighting on the porch. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to move around to this would be the south side. Now, electrical options on the outside, we'll look at those as we go. We're going to come up, we'll see your holiday circuits. But you haven't opted for any other electrical options. But as we move to the south side, you can see we're installing the stone masonry, and they move along at a pretty good clip now that the weather has broken. Penetrations coming out of the house. You can see right where that mason is, there's something wrapped there. That's hose bib on the side here. Our foundation elevation dictates where we can put that, and that is inside the living space. So that's hose bib on this side. So as we come down this south side, we'll make our way down and around. Stop on this corner. Up high on the wall, you see the penetration there between the windows. That is the kitchen. So that's the kitchen. That's the cooktop hood vent. That's what that penetration is there. Got stone happening around the back patio. We're going to work our way in here. As you can see, we've got the deck frame. Masonry is pretty much complete. Got coach light outside the patio door with a waterproof outlet below. Upstairs we have an option that we'll look at when we get up there. We're going to come back to the back side. So you can see we're wrapping up all of the masonry on the deck. I've had my inspections on the deck. Next week we'll be measuring for all of the metal railing. We had to make some adjustments on the master bedroom window, so we did that last week, right at inspection time. But also Monday, all that siding will be going back on. You can see a downspout location up there on that little shed, which catches some of that upper, and that'll come right down the side of the house. On the back corner of the deck and patio, see the downspout location, that'll hug the column coming down and dump to grade. You see the white pipe penetrating masonry here, and that is the sump pump discharge pipe, and that will elbow down the grade with a pipe coming out. And we'll take a look at that a little bit further when we get inside. I'll point that out to you. So as we move around the north side, we've got our main electrical service panel out here. This is where the electric meter is. The blue and white wires are the home runs from the low volt system, so the cable TV, the internet, things like that terminate. When you order your service from Comcast or Xfinity or whoever that may be, they'll set what's called a D mark there, or a termination box, and all those wires will connect, and that feeds your main panel inside, which feeds all your low volt wiring. The orange sleeves that are coming out of the ground are the low volt underground coming from the rear pedestal up next to the electric panel there. That's a grounding block for the communications company. That's the main distribution panel where the meter and the main breakers will be. See, we've got things masked off here. As we move up the north face, I'm going to point out, I've removed, I have had siding there, but I've removed it, and we've done our engineer approved method. I've let what we call sleepers into the side of the foundation, so I can drop that siding a little bit lower. So I can make this stair step look a little bit better, a little closer to the finished grade. When we poured the foundation, it was a little difficult to figure out how far down that siding needed to drop. But I've determined that, and it's going to look great once I wrap that window, and I'll take it up and meet the stone veneer up on the front corner. You can see the penetrations coming out of this side here. Those are fan vents. The metal penetrations are fan vents. The pipe's up a little bit higher. When we get closer, you'll be able to see. That's where the air conditioning unit will mount to that wall there. And the power for the air conditioning, the white pipes coming out of the wall are the furnace and the water heater vent and intake pipes. See, I'll be wrapping this window with siding. We'll drop siding down. All of these sleepers will be sealed in. The siding will step up. This is the air conditioning, power for the AC, service outlet, and I mentioned the vent, intake and exhaust for the furnace and the water heater. This copper pipe sticking out of the wall is the irrigation tee. This is where we'll be installing your landscape sprinkler box. So this will have a vacuum breaker on it, and you dump into your valve box. The valve boxes that we install are large enough where you will be able to add a couple of zones for rear and side yard landscaping. So your landscaper can just tap right into that valve box. This is the front hose bib and the front sump pit. And I'll show you a front sump pump discharge pipe is what that is. See, I've got a downspout right over my head. This downspout will come down, hug the wall, and dump to grade. On this corner, up in the soffit, you'll see that downspout there, but also that is your holiday circuit, which is on a switch inside. That outlet right there is your holiday outlet. Switch from the inside. As we move around the front, we'll just point out the LED soffit lights, which are above the garage window. We'll come back around front. We're just going to pop into both garages, and I'll point out our standard electrical and pre-wire locations, and then I'm going to pause the video and we'll go in the house. So we'll come into the single stall garage. Next to the entry door off of the front porch, you'll see a single switch box here, and this is the switch for the light in the garage. And this is for garage door opener. The low volt comes down, and there's pre-wire for the sensors for garage door opener. We have power outlets around the perimeter, one on each wall, one here on the house wall, one on the back wall. And I want to point out that generally on this model, this outlet here is what the landscapers use to put your sprinkler clock, generally speaking. So your sprinkler clock, irrigation clock will be right here. Power outlet on the exterior wall. And above us, we have garage door opener outlet and the low volt wiring, also the ceiling light. No other electrical in the single stall garage. Pretty standard, and then as we move into the two car, there's no additional electric, but I'll point out what we do have in here. Again, we've got service outlets on all walls, outlet on the exterior wall, outlet on the house wall, outlet on the study wall or on the entry wall. And again, in the ceiling, we've got two lights, garage door opener power, and pre-wire, low volt pre-wire for the sensors on either side of the garage door. This location in the garage, you'll see this box here, and this is a second means. This is just access to the second means of grounding, electrical grounding that we do in your house. We have a copper wire from the electrical service panel all the way to here to ground, and that'll have a cover on it. You have selected a complete interior garage finish, so as you noticed, all the walls are insulated, and this will totally drywall and texture and paint. So you've elected for that option. This being the owner's entry, you'll see two switch locations here, and one is for the interior lights. The other is a three-way switch for the exterior coach lights on the front of the garages. And that three-way, the other side of that three-way switch is at the front entry, which I'll point out when we get inside. So we have two switch locations here, one for the ceiling lights and one three-way switch for the coach lights, on or off from here or the front entry. This is the garage door opener wiring, and that pretty much takes care of the garage. So we're going to pause here and we'll pick it up on the inside. Okay, we're back, and right now I'm standing in the foyer or the front entry, and you can see here that I have switches along this entry wall here. I've got 4 switches here and 1 here, and what I've got are, we have got, as I mentioned outside, the covered patio lights, and I have switched them independently. So this one switches alone, and then the other 2 switch independently, so you don't have to totally illuminate. So I've got 2 entry lights. I've got the hall going ahead of us, our travelers, and then the low volt for the minis and the soffits is here as well. So everything, and we have a 3-way for the coach lights, as I mentioned, from the owner's entry. So we got a 3-way for the coach lights, the 2 switches for the entry lights, the Eve outlet, pardon me, and we have the 3-inch LEDs, 5 switches. So everything for outside and the entry and the coach lights switch right here. So as you come into your entry, and here we are in the study, and we've got double doors going into the study. Just beyond the doors are 3 switches. You've elected for 4 recessed cans and a ceiling fan pre-wire. And then we have what's called a half-hot outlet, or in all living spaces, we have a switched outlet 45 degrees from where we have the switch. So the outlet, the switched outlet in this room is over here. And that means that 1/2 of that switch, or that outlet, will be on that switch. The other half is continuous power. So we have 4 ceiling cans, 4 ceiling recess cans, a ceiling fan pre-wire, and a half-switched outlet. We've got general service outlets around the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outlets, low. And as we're going to walk into master B. So this is, there's two switches here as we enter the hallway into the master B, and one is on a four-way, and that would be the walking cans or the foyer cans. So there's a switch there to turn them on or off. Switch here, if someone's just accessing master B, they can turn those lights off behind themselves, but then turning on lights, traveling lights ahead. We've got a smoke detector up above. We've got the laundry off to the right. We'll continue to walk. This is to turn off the hall lights behind yourself. And as you walk into the master B, there are three switches here. We've got 4 recessed cans up in the coffer. Got a ceiling fan pre-wire, and again, a half-switched outlet across the room. General service outlets around the room. And in the study, we also have a wireless access point. And I just need to find it. That's a smoke detector. Pardon me while I'm stumbling. Literally. Oh, we've got it in the study. I apologize. That is in the study, and I'll come back in there and point it out to you. That's the blue box here. That's the wireless access point in the study, not in the master B suite. But from a low volt standpoint, we've got a CP and a T here at 66 inches plus power. And the T is the tube or the conduit, and the CP point, which is cable and phone and data. And a tube to pull up if you do a wall mount device. So there's the low volt in the master B. Got the wireless access in the study. We're going to walk through, because we're here, we'll walk through the laundry room, and as you walk in, there are 2 switches on your right, and one of them is on a 3-way switch at the master closet, and those are the lights. So we've got 2 recessed cans. The other switch is for the fan, the whisper fan, and that the lights are on a 3-way. We've got washer, dryer, gas dryer option, 220 and 110 service outlets above countertop, and the attic access is in the laundry as well. And up in the attic, you'll see a light on a pull chain and a service outlet for whatever you may need service power for in the attic. There are 2 conduits going to the attic as well, which I'll point out to you. One is for photovoltaic and the other is for low volt. So we walk into the master closet. You turn lights off behind ourselves in the laundry, and ahead the master closet switch is on a 3-way as well. 2 recessed cans, 3-way switch, and service outlet. Into the master bathroom. Got the master stool room off to the right with 2 switches inside. One is for the light, ceiling light. The other is for fan. Coming into the bathroom, you've got the master shower and the freestanding tub. This is his or her vanity light wire above. There are 4 switches here. We've got the 3-way switch that you could turn on and off from the closet entry for the recessed cans. Got another switch for fan outside the shower. Another switch for recessed can in the shower. And then we switch the 2 recessed cans above the freestanding tub independently. Now, there you've requested an outlet. Pardon me. I'm sorry, this is our standard outlet next to the vanity. And this is the Vanity Light whip. So we've got vanity here, standard outlet, light above. Step back out to the grand room and walk into the master suite area. So as you exit the grand room, this is to turn off lights behind yourself. Here is the switch to turn on the travelers ahead. Got lights in the hallway, smoke detector, light in the hallway into the master bedroom. Switch to turn lights off behind yourself. Switch to turn on recessed cans, and ceiling fan pre-wire in the ceiling. service outlets around the room, low volt in the master bedroom. We've got, again, a CP6 down low, tube with a pull string in it, and power outlet at 66. So as we leave the master suite, we'll turn off lights behind ourselves. And in the grand room, I've got on the left side here 4 switches. And we've got recessed cans in the grand room. We've got recessed cans traveling behind us. I've got a 3-way switch for the dining fixture located here in the dining area. And then the switch for the half-hot outlet across the room. Service outlets in the niches around the room completely. The low volt in the grand room. We've got a CP above the fireplace at 80 inches per your request with power next to it, plus a tube going down into the niche. On the right side of the fireplace, we have the fireplace switch. Power CP6 in this CP in this location. Service outlets around the room. And as we get on the other side of the grand room toward the deck, we've got a series of 5 switches here. And what we have here are 3-way switches. We have ceiling fan, and we have 3-way switches for the cans. So you can turn lights on or off from either side of the room. The 3 switches here, we've got for the outside, we've got a ceiling fan pre-wire outside. We've got recessed cans in the ceiling, and we have the switched outlet up in the ceiling. So we got recessed cans, ceiling fan, and the switched outlet. Standard waterproof outlet outside the door on the wall. Gas for a barbecue located here. It comes through the stone column. And again, next week, all of the siding, all of the soffits, everything will be closed up next week. Break in the weather. So in the kitchen, we're looking here in the kitchen. We got the kitchen island. This is just a temporary piece of plywood here, platform. We got service outlets around the island. Here we have refrigerator on the left, ice maker below. We've got an under cab lights here. We have on the low volt side, got a, looks like a CP, nope, just a T1, just a telephone line with a service outlet above the countertop as well, extra outlet, and this is the refrigerator outlet. Water service. We've got an outlet down low as well. I believe, I have to verify this, I apologize, I don't know off the top of my head. I believe we have an under cab cooler, something like that. 4 switches here. We've got 3-way switch for the lights. We have pendant lights and recessed cans in the kitchen. Right around, we'll catch it as we go downstairs. So here is the refrigerator wall, and then we're back to the owner's entry. Owner's entry. This is the light switch to turn on the recessed cans over the owner's entry. We've got a pantry with a ceiling light and a switch inside. Coat closet off to the right as you enter. Little drop space with power low. We've got switch to turn off lights behind ourselves, and then 4-way switch for kitchen lighting moving in. As we're standing here at the kitchen sink, this is where the sink is. We've got hot and cold water lines, and we've got power below with drain. The garbage disposal switch will be inside the cabinet below the sink. Power outlets on the end. This corner of the kitchen, we've got the double oven cabinet. And we've got base cabinets with under cab lighting. We have the cooktop. This is the wire for the hood vent. Again, above countertop outlets. We've got under cab lighting, under cab lighting. two switches here. They're on 3 ways. Turn lights off behind yourself or moving ahead to the dining area. I'm just checking your electrical options here, so bear with me. Okay, I think we've covered all the options. We're going to step back to the study before we go back downstairs because I want to make sure that I show you that wireless access point and that the outlets in the study are there to be installed at normal height inside the cabinets. So this is your cabinet wall here. We've got the outlets down low, which will come through inside the cabinets. And then here's the WAP, the wireless access point. So in the kitchen area, the only low volt was at T1, the telephone pre-wire at the countertop next to the refrigerator. So as we go down the basement stairs, we've got a single switch here for the stair. You've requested a ceiling light pre-wire here, or we've got a ceiling light centered that looks like a fan box, but we're doing them all the same. And that is centered in the stairwell, centered on in the stairwell. We center all ceiling lights and stairwells on the stairwell itself. As we come down to the basement, we've got a switch at the base of the stairs to turn off the lights behind yourself, and right around the corner there are other switches here. We've got recessed cans in the rec room here. Outside of the wet bar, we've got 4 recessed cans. We've got 2 switches back behind the wet bar. 1 for recessed cans, and then 3-way for the cans in front. We've got a beverage center down low, outlets above countertop. Now you've selected upper cabinets as well, so I've held this soffit back. Normally this soffit, this wood soffit, runs all the way back to the wall, but since you've selected upper cabinets, I've stopped this soffit as short as I could, but that has to be there. So here as I stand at the wet bar, we've got power outlet off to the side of the countertop. We've got sink with trash bins, bar top with a 12-inch overhang. We've got outlet in the backsplash. Service outlets around the room. Light switch for the coach light, which is outside on the wall, right next to the door. Now, in this area, I've got 2 switches. One is for the recessed cans, all the can lights, and the other is for the ceiling fan pre-wire that you've requested. Let me get to the basement low volt diagram. Okay, we've got some speaker pre-wires. We've got low volt T1, everything is low with a tube up, power, low volt, power, everything is low. We've got 3 speakers above, 2 speakers in back, and the subwoofer. Bear with me as I find the subwoofer down low in the back corner here. It's all recessed cans. Got the ceiling fan switch separately. And as we leave the granite room, there are 3-way switches for everything behind ourselves. To turn off the ceiling fan, to turn off the recessed cans, and then the turn on lights ahead of ourselves as we're traveling into the secondary bedroom areas. So in this bedroom, 3 switches as we come in. We've got 4 recessed cans, evenly spaced, ceiling fan 3-wire, and then a half switched outlet. This is the low sump pit, and I had pointed out the white pipe penetrating outside. That's this one here. That's the ejection for the sump pump. This all drywall finishes with a wood top, and there is a wood lid that lifts here. We've installed the sump pump, so everything will be cleaned and certified and ready to go. And these are basically backup sump systems because our under drain system ties to the storm in the street. So the sumps are just a backup system. No low volt in this bedroom. So we can turn off lights ahead, behind ourselves, and ahead of ourselves. Bathroom, as you walk into the bathroom, there is one switch on your left as you enter the door, and that's for the light above the lav. And then in the shower stool room with door, there are two switches. One is for the ceiling can above the shower, and the other is for the fan above the stool. So we've got shower in lieu of tub, shower head at 84 inches off the floor. When you move into the other bedroom, turn off lights behind ourselves, and as you enter the bedroom, three switches, four ceiling cans, four recessed cans, ceiling fan pre-wear, and a half hot outlet across the room. Service outlets around the room, and there's no additional low volt in this bedroom either. So four recessed cans and a ceiling fan pre-wire in each bedroom, and a half switched outlet. So now we'll move around to the mechanical area. And as you enter the mechanical room, door swings this way, the light switch is right here, and we've got service lights here in the mechanical room. We've got power for the water heater, 50-gallon hot water heater, furnace. Everything is here. We've got the low volt panel on this wall, power for the low volt panel, and the interior load center. This is where all your lighting and main outlet circuitry will be breakered from. Outside in the main disconnect panel, there'll just be the power main disconnect plus one or two heavies, like the air conditioning circuit will probably be outside, and sometimes the double oven. So that takes care of the mechanical room. In the unfinished space, as we walk in, light switch, turns on all the ceiling lights. There's no low volt back here, but we do have some power. And you requested outlets in 5 locations. So we have all those outlets in, and you'll see them around the room as we walk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus we have, this is the high sump pit. This is the power for the sump pump, another sump pump that we will be installing. And this is the ejection pipe going to the outside. And this pipe right here is our vapor pipe. And what that is inside of your basement or below the concrete slab, we have installed a complete interior perimeter drain system. Half of it slopes to this pit. This is the main clean out to the storm sewer, which goes to the street, which I mentioned. And the other side of the basement flows to the sump pit. If any water percolates up through the ground, it'll collect in that drain system and come to the under drain, to the street, or collects in the sump pits, and then it is ejected outside. This vapor pipe is a pipe that we install right on top of the interior drain pipe. That interior drain pipe is a perforated pipe, but what this vent pipe is for is any moisture, humidity, or anything that seeps up through the ground or collects underneath the slab, it'll go into that drain, and then this is just a passive vent that anything, any vapor, any moisture, humidity collects, it'll just naturally, passively vent out through the roof, and that goes all the way out through the roof. This is just a main sewer drop from the house, clean out there. And you'll see this is the water service tree. And so this is the main water service coming in from the street. We've got to disconnect the pressure regulating valve And another disconnect, this is a booster pump. All houses on this upper portion of the project have a booster pump. The water pressure just wasn't high enough to meet all of our needs, so we put in a pressure booster pump to hold the pressure at the PSI that we needed to run a home normally. This doesn't run all the time. This will be explained at greater detail at your homeowner orientation, but we've got all shut-off valves, check valves, everything in place, power supply right next to it. So it's little or no maintenance on these pressure pumps, on these booster pumps. We've got a copper pipe here with a shut-off valve, and this is the sprinkler tee that I pointed out outside, the copper pipe. This is for the landscape irrigation. So this is the main shut-off, and there's a drain valve here also, so in the fall to winter, you'll be able to turn that vacuum breaker off outside, open this little valve, let any water drain out of it, and that way there'd be no risk of freezing. This is an anti-hammer arrestor, which sometimes in irrigation pipes, air may get in the lines, and this prevents any of the pipes from knocking or rattling. This is the main shut-off to the house, so the main water feed. I had pointed out to you out in the garage that we had, that was the second means of electrical grounding for your home. This is another means of grounding. The electrical wire in the garage goes all the way to the service panel. This one is a bond that goes to the ground rod next to the service panel, but also a cold water bond. We bond the water pipe from the ground around all the valves so it'll never be interrupted, and then it goes to a ground rod outside. So we have two means of grounding your entire house for safety and safety purposes. No chance of electrical shock. So this is the main water tree. Shut-offs for service or removal or replacement, shut-offs for service, irrigation, and the main house shut-off. Something happened, all the water is off to all of the devices upstairs. Okay? And that pretty much wraps it up. If you have any questions about any of this, please reach out to Kyle and he'll get with me and we could have a conversation if you need to, or just communicate through him, but we communicate every day. We have meetings every Monday, and we bring each other up to speed on happenings, so I feel free to reach out to Kyle. So I'm going to wrap up inside, and we'll go back up outside and finish up. So Micah and Candace, thanks for taking the time to watch this. And if you have any questions or issues or clarifications you need, just reach out. I'm here from 6 to 5 every day. So as we started off, you know, my little checklist here, we talked about the grading and drainage on the plot plan. We looked at all the gutter downspouts locations, talked about the window grids, the electrical locations we looked at, the low volt and security systems, everything seems to be in. Plumbing, mechanical, change orders. There are no more change orders from this point forward because everything is ordered and coming. Then the projected schedule. As we're building now, right now how this is trending, and Kyle, I give Kyle updates every Monday, so please check in with him as frequently as you wish. But right now we're trending. I'm going to be stocking drywall on Monday, February 1st, and then by Tuesday we'll be moving to installing. But we're looking right now that we're trending toward the end of May. So I'm hoping that that's right about where it'll come in, because might be mid to end May. So, but we'll keep you posted on a weekly basis, and then as we get closer, we'll lock in some dates with you. But that's where we're trending right now. So I really appreciate your time and look forward to continuing to finish your house, and talk to you soon.